Hi everyone and welcome back to my Canada Immigration Explore YouTube channel. In this video, I would like to talk about tips for starting school, a checklist for international students studying in Canada. Moving to a new country can be both exciting and overwhelming, especially when taking on the responsibilities of a student at the same time. Now, let's talk about regional tenant regulations. From requiring written notice to inspect a property, to maintenance time frames and eviction notices, taking the time to research your rights and responsibilities as a tenant may help avert many a housing-related crisis. Bylaws regarding property maintenance can be a two-way street, with landlords and tenants having separate obligations to fulfill. Tenants will need to keep the building clean and in good order and report any faults or incidents as soon as possible. In the event of a dispute between tenant and landlord, the resolution will be handled differently depending on the province. For example, tenants living in Ontario will consult the Ontario Landlord Tenant Board, LTB, whereas disputes in British Columbia will be handled by the Residential Tenancy Branch, RTB. It's best to check your local government website to see how disputes are handled in your province. Now, let's talk about rent control. Some regions of Canada have rent control, the majority do not. For example, British Columbia currently enforces a rent increase limit of 3.5% for the year 2024, and landlords are required to give 3 full months' notice before increasing the rent. Have a look at breakdown of rent control by province, for residential properties built or first occupied prior to November 15, 2018. Now, let's talk about campus rules and regulations. Campuses often feature different regulations than the surrounding communities. For example, although smoking tobacco and cannabis in public is legal in most Canadian jurisdictions, university and college campuses are private property, and many campuses enforce smoke-free rules that prohibit smoking anywhere on campus. Other examples include residential quiet hours to minimize disruption, or rules regulating the use and parking of vehicles on campus. It's worth taking the time to familiarize yourself with campus regulations, which are typically available on your university website or in paper form from the student union. Now, let's talk about local bylaws. As the name implies, these vary across Canada. For example, the City of Toronto has quiet hours spanning 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. on weekdays and from 11 p.m. to 9 a.m. on weekends. If you are coming from Europe, or another part of the world with more relaxed attitudes toward drinking, you'll especially want to pay attention to the laws prohibiting alcohol consumption at certain times and public spaces. You can find your city's bylaws on your municipal government website. Now, let's talk about social insurance number SIN. Assuming your study permit allows for off-campus work, you will need to apply for a SIN upon entering Canada. This can be done on the Government of Canada website, and requires your study permit as well as your passport and supporting document. The process does not take long to complete. Once a SIN has been issued, you can work for any employer permitted under the conditions of your study permit. It will also be used by the Canada Revenue Agency, CRA, to collect. Now, let's talk about health insurance, emergency and major medical. Some students will be automatically enrolled in a group health through their university, charged as part of student fees. This typically covers immediate emergency care situations such as broken bones or head trauma. It also offers coverage for unforeseen life-threatening health conditions such as cancer. While some provincial health insurance plans will cover international students, others will require you to find and pay for your own coverage. Also, even if your province of residence provides coverage, you may be subject to a waiting period. Now, let's talk about health insurance. Extended health coverage. Health insurance for care which is not covered under a provincial or territorial plan is typically referred to as extended health coverage. In Ontario, for example, extended health coverage would typically include things such as the following: prescription drugs, dental care, paramedical, e.g., physiotherapy, massage therapy, chiropractic medicine, chiropody, naturopathy, psychotherapy. Many students may have access to extended health coverage through group health insurance plans offered through their university or student union. If your institution offers it, purchasing this coverage may be optional or mandatory. You may also be able to enroll your spouse and/or dependents in the plan. Now, let's talk about primary care provider. Most universities will offer healthcare facilities through campus health services. Student medical clinics will offer on-campus care, allowing students to access non-emergency care such as prescriptions, checkups, and vaccinations. Normally the first use of these services will require filling in an online form, and seeing a practitioner will be on an appointment basis. Now, let's talk about waste collection. Waste collection, garbage, recycling, and compost green bins will vary depending on where you live. If you live on campus, or in an apartment building, ask your university or building management or landlord for information about waste disposal. If you live in a detached home, townhouse, duplex, triplex, or fourplex, you will likely have curbside waste collection, typically weekly. Check your municipality's website for information on waste collection. Most urban regions in Canada divide household waste into garbage, recycling, and green bin waste. Now, let's talk about phone and internet. Traveling to another country is already a potentially isolating experience. Reliable, fast internet and a phone plan with ample data and minutes will help bridge the gap between you and back home. It will also help you keep in touch with all your new friends on campus. It's no secret Canada has some of the most expensive data plans out there, but shopping before the fall term begins will allow you to take advantage of back-to-school deals that can offer considerable savings. Shopping for home internet access, assuming your campus doesn't provide it, at the same time might also open you up to package deals from some providers. In the end, I would like to request you please like the video and subscribe Canada Immigration Explore YouTube channel, and also share this video to your friends and family members for Canada immigration updates. Thank you, see you in the next video, take care.